December 19th, 2020. Today I want to talk about this article in New Eastern Outlook. This is a journal based in Russia that I contribute to, but I also like to read the articles on there. They come from writers all around the world, and they have different perspectives on many things. I don't necessarily agree with everything that I read there, but that's good. That's good to have a wide variety to pick from. This article is by Vladimir Terahov. It's titled East Asia Sees the Return of Former Colonialists, and I happen to agree 100% with this article. This is a good article. And this is a picture of the new UK aircraft carrier, the Queen Elizabeth. And I'm pretty sure the primary fighter aircraft that this is carrying is the Lockheed Martin F-35. Now, this article is about, this aircraft carrier. What do you think it's doing? Do you think it's defending the UK's shores? Surely that's why they spent all the money building it. Nope, they're sending it thousands of miles away to East Asia. And there it's going to join Japanese, but also US and French warships. And they're going to be near this island group here. And this is being disputed between China and Japan. So it's just a great opportunity for the West to drive wedges in Asia, to kind of do this divide and conquer that they're so famous for as colonialists. And, the way they're trying to convince Japan to do it, other than the fact that there's tens of thousands of US forces based in Japan, so they really don't have much of a choice. But the British are offering to allow Mitsubishi to service their F-35 fighters when they're in the region. Mitsubishi builds the F-35 under license from Lockheed Martin. So that's kind of interesting, and I didn't know that. But there's something else that I found very interesting about this. This article talks about, the West's colonial history in Asia and kind of how offensive this whole policy is. I find it offensive, of course, but there's something interesting about, why they're left with this policy, this overtly colonialist, imperialist policy that's very hard to defend. Think about it. You have the UK, the US, France, Japan. This is an alliance. They want to shake things up with China, contain China in the region, policing Asia basically. And 3 out of the 4 countries aren't even based in Asia. They're Western countries. It's absurd. But I think it's interesting because years ago, the US tried to stitch together, Asian countries, including in Southeast Asia, into a kind of Asia NATO that they were going to, as NATO is to Russia, this would have been to China, and that never worked, especially in Southeast Asia today. These countries count China as their biggest trade partner, investor, source of tourism. A lot of them are turning to China for military hardware, including Thailand, who a lot of people still think is a very close US ally. Not true, not anymore. And a lot of these countries are turning to China for infrastructure, high-speed rail. Again, Thailand is a good example. Laos is a good example. So these existing governments have no interest in being part of a US-led anti-China coalition. So that was never going to happen. The US has spent a lot of time and energy in color revolution, fomenting, regime change basically, and that has not been very successful in the region. In Myanmar, they were able to get Aung San Suu Kyi in, but then she still ended up doing business with China. And now you can see the West, after giving her a Nobel Peace Prize, have turned on her and are calling out all these human rights offenses. It was predictable. It was very predictable that as soon as she stopped doing what the US wanted, all those accolades and praise that she got for decades would vanish in a puff of smoke, and they would do to her what they've done to every other leader of any other country who disobeyed what the West wanted. After that, we had the Quad, which was Australia, India, Japan, and the US. So you could see how it started like with Southeast Asia, and then it kind of blew out a little bit to where now it's India, Australia, Japan, the US were kind of like on the edges here of Asia. And now today, you've got France, UK, US, Japan. So you're not even the countries that are part of America's anti-Chinese coalition aren't even in Asia at all, not even close, except for Japan. So I thought that was an interesting. I think this is an interesting development that they're at this point right now that these other schemes of theirs have kind of fallen apart. I mean, even the Quad, sure, Australia right now has really taken a hard turn against China, but that's not going to last, and they're doing a lot of damage to themselves. And I think hopefully what they'll realize is that before they had a stronger position to make deals with China. After this, they're still going to have to go back to China, but they're going to be doing it from a weaker position. It shows you the folly of picking, the dying US-led unipolar world over the emerging multipolar world. Countries need to start investing right now in creating a sustainable balance of power between nations instead of this unrealistic, unsustainable attempt by the US to contain the rise of these countries. It'll never happen. It will not work. So, and India, even though India has had its problems with China, they're interested in using the Quad as leverage against China, but I don't think they're interested in a real escalation with China or a long-term confrontation with China. Again, they actually do a lot of business with China. Why would they want to jeopardize that? And you have Russia in there, who is a close ally to both China and India, who does not benefit from either of those countries escalating matters between each other. So this is an interesting article, and it's thought-provoking, and it kind of should give us kind of a look at how this project of the U.S. is going in containing China. It's not going very well, which is kind of hopeful. And let's just hope that this stunt, is confined to provocations that China largely ignores, and that as Western power continues to fade, we see less of this, and we see them starting to think more constructively. Let's just put it that way. Now, to my patrons who make these videos possible, thank you very much. Please continue giving me feedback. I appreciate it. I read everything people say, and I take it to heart. And if you're watching this when I publish it publicly, please like and share it if you thought it was useful. Check the video description for the link to this article. Check out New Eastern Outlook. It's got a lot of interesting stuff on it that you're not going to find, definitely not find it in the Western mainstream media. But it also has some interesting articles, on there that you won't find in the alternative media either. Some of it is translated from Russian into English, so you get a totally different perspective from Russia's point of view. And also, for people who have been helping me share my work and everything else, thank you so much. And as always, thank you for watching.